license plate from your county tag office. You know, it costs a lot to give a child life. Many times a woman is forced to make a bad choice because of financial pressures. Help save the lives of the unborn children by aiding women whom choose life instead of abortion. Take a stand for life. Purchase your Choose Life license plate today. For more information, go to chooselife.org or call 352-624-2854.
Cookies, 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 cookies. We go cookie eating cookies.
When you want something special and fun for any occasion, get cookies. King Cookie in the Paddock Mall in Ocala will make a delicious, fun-filled delight just for you. So next time you're in the mall, stop by King Cookie or call 352-237-2557. KingCookieOcala.com. Customized cookies, cakes, and more. King Cookie.
Eating cookies. We're so happy eating cookies. Cookies!
On Mondays, AM Ocala Live, it's June 6th, and we're remembering June 6th of 1944, also known as D-Day, the turning point.
Here she is, folks.
The nuns at Queen of Angels will never be the same after Dolores moves in. Sister Act Once a Movie, now live on stage at Ocala Civic Theater, May 19th through June 12th. After witnessing a murder, Dolores hides out as Sister Mary Clarence and turns the little church upside down. Call 352-236-2274 or buy online at OcalaCivicTheater.com. It would be a sin to miss it.
WWWOCA
This is WOCA, News Talk 1370.
This is James Snyder, inviting you to join me each Sunday morning at 9:30 for Sunday Joy on 1370 AM, 96.3 FM.
Ocala's information station, 1370 WOCA.
Ocala!
All right, 18 minutes after 9 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. You know, we're about scaring you today. We're about scaring you. We're talking about this storm that's getting close, and now we're going to talk about cancer. But if you look at it this way, instead of saying, you know what you're about scaring us. No, we're not. We're about preparing you. That's why we have some of these discussions. Dr. Robert A. Figlin is on the phone right now. He's the director of the Division of Hematology and Oncology at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center's Samuel Ocean Comprehensive Cancer Institute and the Association of the Institute's Academic Development Program. He's the editor of the Kidney Cancer Journal and the senior editor of Clinical Advances in Hematology and Oncology. He's on the phone to talk to us for about 10 minutes about a really important topic. It's the latest research in renal cell carcinoma, the most common type of kidney cancer. Dr. Figlin, good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning. Thanks so much for having me.
And where are you calling from?
Chicago, the place where the American Society of Clinical Oncology is meeting its international meeting as we speak.
Oh, okay. And you're meeting with other doctors from around the world?
30,000.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
And will you share with, does information get passed along at these meetings that then actually elevates everybody's awareness of what the new advances are in cancer research, specifically when it comes to kidney cancer?
Absolutely. I mean, what happens at ASCO is that the latest research taking place across the world, not just in the United States, is articulated. It's shared with the audience. The speakers bring the latest information, and whether that's academia or industry, the goal is to bring this latest information to the public that can then go back to our communities and be applied where appropriate.
You know, you don't hear too many people talking about kidney cancer, but the material that was provided, so that I could sound a little bit smart about this, says that it's one of the 10 top cancers.
So it's not that unusual, although it's not as common as the ones that you hear about more, prostate, lung, breast, and colorectal cancer. But it is a cancer that's increasing in incidence. It has had an enormous amount of research over the last decade that is bearing fruit with some of the things that are being presented as we speak, and it's offering cancer patients who suffer with this disease opportunities that hadn't been present just a few years ago.
And this is mainly for people that are older?
Well, so cancer is often a disease of an aging population. So it's not just being older that puts you at risk, but having a life of exposures to possible chemicals or risk factors. But the reality is that most kidney cancer is found incidentally, is what's called sporadic in nature, meaning that we don't really know the specific cause.
Okay, I have a question that's probably a kindergarten question in your field, but what is the definition of the word carcinoma? Is it just another word for cancer?
Yeah, so it's not a kindergarten question. I think it's an important question for your audience to know about. So carcinoma, or cancer, is really when a cell undergoes changes where its growth is uncontrolled. Most of the growth of our cells in our body, no matter where it is, from our skin to our GI tract, is done in a very specific way. Cancer cells grow in an uncontrolled way, and that's why they grow over time and ultimately can threaten us as the host.
And why does that happen? I guess this is maybe a general cancer question, but why does that happen if we are obese, if we have bad lifestyle habits? Why is that? And maybe you can separate that from the answer to the next question, which would be the genetic part of that equation.
So one can imagine that a cell in our body is affected by being exposed to something. And that something could be smoking. That something could be an unhealthy lifestyle. Something could be the genetics of our parents. And those cells then learn through its genetic makeup to grow differently than cells that don't have those exposures. Now, the good news is most of our body manages those abnormalities and gets rid of them, but occasionally those cells begin to grow and become a critical mass and are uncontrolled, and that's when they develop into a tumor or a cancer that could threaten us. So I think the important thing is to recognize that what we put in our body is important, and the things that we put in our body that are harmful are not helpful, and anything that we can do to lead a healthy lifestyle is a good thing. But unfortunately, even healthy lifestyles can result in exposure to things that will cause cancer.
And when people have to have a kidney transplant, can you test the new kidney for cancer, or is it still susceptible to get cancer?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So kidney transplants are when kidneys fail and a person's on dialysis and needs to get someone else's kidney, and the donor kidney is always looked for and made sure that it does not contain cancer, at least from a radiologic and a gross perspective. Now, could that kidney that is donated from a family member or a donor ultimately develop kidney cancer? The answer to that is unquestionably yes, but the frequency is low.
So the person listening who has no reason to believe he or she has kidney cancer, but has had kidney cancer in their family, what do you tell that person? What should that person be doing differently than maybe somebody who doesn't have that background?
Yeah, that's just an excellent question. So if a person has a strong family history of kidney cancer, parents, brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles, usually at a relatively young age, we refer those patients to a genetic counselor. The genetic counselor then determines the risk that person may have, and then between the genetic counselor and the oncologist, they would develop a strategy to try and identify that cancer if it was going to develop at a stage when it could be cured by surgery alone.
With all of with all of the physicians meeting at this meeting in Chicago, do you all feel like you have broken through this, where this type of cancer could be eradicated?
Well, eradicated is a great word, but hard to apply in cancer. I think that we eradicate kidney cancer when it's localized by surgically removing it. But the good news at the American Society of Clinical Oncology meeting this week in Chicago is the demonstration that we now have approaches using things called targeted agents or immuno-oncology agents that have resulted in dramatic improvements in the length of a person's life. And that's not something that we had seen before, which gives us great hope that we're going to be able to accomplish that for people.
Okay, so again, maybe going back to kindergarten, I'm just looking at the words and trying to figure out what they mean. Immuno-oncology sounds like you have a way perhaps of making a patient immune to cancer. Is that correct?
Getting close. So briefly, what that means is that cancers suppress our immune system's ability to find it and destroy it. Immuno-oncology agents are molecules that are given to the patient that interfere with that suppression, allowing our immune system to interact with the cancer, and as such produce regressions of that cancer that have now been shown at this meeting to extend life.
Really? So in other words, it helps the body recognize there's something wrong so it can fix itself.
Exactly right.
And
that's good news. That's really good news. Would that apply to all cancers, or is it? And this is the thing that's always confused me, is that when somebody has cancer, let's say breast cancer, and it becomes metastasizes, that breast cancer could become a tumor on your, I don't know, on your kidney. You could have breast cancer on your kidney.
Yeah, so the way cancer doctors think about that is the origin of the cancer is where it begins, and where it travels through the lymphatic system or the blood is where it travels. It doesn't change the nature of the cancer. So if a breast cancer traveled to a lung or a liver, it's still breast cancer. If a kidney cancer travels to a lung or a liver, it's still kidney cancer. And the therapies that we give, especially with our immuno-oncology agents, offer us the opportunity to find, identify, and kill cells wherever they are. And you asked the question, which was a very important one, and that is, are these agents effective in other kinds of cancer? And the answer is unequivocally yes. And immuno-oncology agents in oncology in 2016 are available in bladder cancer, lung cancer, melanoma, and kidney cancer, all of which are very promising areas.
What do you think will be our conversation if we're back together in 10 years? What do you think you'll be telling us?
So I think what we'll be telling you in 10 years is that every patient who gets cancer today should participate in a clinical trial if they can, so that in 10 years, all the efforts that we're presenting at the American Society of Clinical Oncology will continue to offer patients greater hope, greater opportunities, and hopefully we're going to cure this disease. That's always been our goal, and we won't stop until we find it.
And is that what you do at the Institute's academic development program? You do all of that research plus the clinical trials?
So what we do at Cedars and what I do specifically, I spent 3 decades studying kidney cancer. I treat kidney cancer specifically, and our goals are to apply the most recent research to patients and try and personalize it. What that means is to say, why is Mary different than Sam? And try and figure that out, and then apply the best strategies to treat their individual kidney cancer, whether it arises in their lung, in their liver, or another place.
The listener who is right now dealing with kidney cancer is the listener who turned up his or her radio to hear this interview, and I know a brief little interview probably didn't satisfy whatever they had hoped to hear. Is there a website you can direct them to so they can learn more?
So the best websites that I believe exist are the American Society of Clinical Oncology website, as well as your comprehensive cancer centers in your community, where they can identify experts like myself that specialize in this specific disease. Okay.
Is cancer.org a website you would recommend? I have it on my list here.
And that's exactly right.
Okay. Doctor, thank you for being on the air with us today. I thank you for the work you've chosen to do. Wow, 30 years. My goodness. We're going to remember pop stars, but we might not remember Dr. Figlin, and he's going to be the one who saves your life.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Doctor, thank you for what you're doing and for being on the air with us today.
So much for words.
That was really good. We'll take a little break and we'll be right back.
Fox News Radio, I'm Pat O'Neill. Tropical Storm Colin picking up steam as it heads for the Florida coast with winds nearing 50 miles per hour. This Altamont Springs resident has learned to be prepared.
Ever since Andrew